Good morning, YouTube. My name is Matthew Archambault from drawingtutorialsonline.com. I am welcoming you to another live stream here where we can get in some really good figure drawing practice. And wow, my volume's up high there. Let me lower that. Let's see here. Where did my chat go? I thought I just saw. Let's skip this thing right here. Okay. Welcome, Angelia. Angelia, for members of Drawing Tutorials Online, I have the photo reference unedited on the website. So if you just go over to the website and you'll see it under in the member blog area where I put the member podcast. So you can get the large size photo reference there. It's not too large. I'm using the abbreviated kind of size for quicker download. Welcome. And then ooh, that's a Mir Rima. Hello. I know I just butchered your name. It's early in the morning. Well, not too early. It's 10 o'clock. It's not early, but feels early to me. I slept in this morning. I don't know. I never sleep in. Like my morning time is like 5 a.m. So yeah, but I guess I slept in today, so a little bit, which again, rare, never happens. So Helen, welcome. So, what are we doing here today for this live stream? Enough of my chit chat. We're just going to do some figure drawing. So, what I'd like to do is to do the first drawing, perhaps from a photo, and then after that, if we have time at the end, which we will have time. Hey Batman, I would like to also do one out of my imagination. Okay, so that's the goal for today's class. But let's get started with a warm-up, and let me switch my... So there's not full nudity, but some nudity coming up right now, okay? So let's go to this one. Yes, okay. So I just bought this, and Graphit Studio, I definitely have got to touch base with you. This has been going on for months right now. Like, my schedule is so busy. I just don't have a lot of extra time, and when I do, my brain is fried. Hey, welcome, Hammy. My brain is fried, so I'm not doing outreach. Kind of doing other things, and so I definitely need to outreach to Graphit Studio, absolutely, because this photo pack was unbelievable. There's so many good photos in this photo pack, and yeah, okay. So this is what we're gonna draw first, okay? Now, I chose this photo because it's somewhat dynamic, and it's not like, it's kind of a profile, and profile kind of really does hide a lot of the nudity. Welcome, Bob. And yeah, all right, welcome. Let's get going here. So the first thing that I would like to do is I need to get my hand moving, all right? It's been, yeah. I need to get my hand moving. So I'm just going to warm up with some ovals. So yes. And also, everybody on YouTube, I also just shared Zeely. Zeely is a first-year student, 18 years old, in my foundation drawing class. I just posted their sketchbook. Their drawings are amazing, so you might want to check that out after the live stream. Yeah, all right. So in Zeely's sketchbook, you can see that Zeely is doing all of these ovals and warming up. So I love doing this first, okay? And then we can do some little ovals at the bottom. You can call them circles, call them whatever you want. They're just organic, round form, because what you've got to understand about drawing the figure is that there are no straight lines unless you are doing your angles technique. So I find my photo reference, and I've got to get an affiliate link from Graphit Studio because I'm sending them a lot of business, but it's Graphit Studio. I think their reference is amazing, and I buy the YouTube license, which is a little bit more pricey. But if you're not using their photos on YouTube, you could just get their regular license. So I'm going to just now do letter C, opposite letter C, my good friend Stephen Gaffney's favorite technique. Letter C, opposite letter C, letter C, opposite letter C, and letter C. Why am I doing that? Why? Because this is how you dance down the figure quickly in a gestural sort of drawing posture. Okay, so this isn't something that we're doing for like a 3 hour drawing, but technically you could start that way. Now, what else could I do? I'm really in big lately to connection lines. So, connection lines come in the form of an S curve. So, you can also do a long S curve. They come in the form of like a C shape. And this drawing has connection lines all over the place for this model. You can probably already see. Now, some people call connection lines. Some people call them connectors. Other people, you could call them line of action. It depends. All right. And so these are all very, very loose lines that you should practice, but you should also slow down. I haven't done this in a while. So let's see how off practice I am with a shape. So I'm using straight lines. It would be nice if I got like a little center to the drawing here. And I'm just trying to draw the same shape. Yep. Not perfect, but not bad either. Okay. And now, one more thing that we can do here in the warm up is we could just do some shading with some vertical straight lines. Now, if you remember correctly, last week, what we did was we did drawing with tone or drawing with line. Now, I'm going to do this now with a darker value. This should really get my fingers going. And that's actually with the coal erase pencil kind of painful because you have to press down really hard to get that value with the coal erase. And now let's just do one more. And this last one, we will do a light value. So we have 3 values right now on the paper. And this is one of the best quick warm-ups you could do. So we're going to call this the midtone, we're going to call this the dark, and we're going to call that value the light. So what do we have here on the screen? We have our rhythmic circular shapes. We have our downward movement down the figure via opposite C's. We have a line of action, aka connector lines. We are using the old school angles bark plate technique here quickly just by mimicking a shape. And we are also understanding that, yes, in a short and a long pose, it's okay, animation students, to use a shape of value. Not everything needs to be just line. All right, let me get a little swig of my coffee here, and I'm going to just look at the chat here for a second. Okay, Batman, that was a really big question. May I ask a question? How to achieve greatness? And don't think of the word greatness like you're thinking about like an end game. Just enjoy the process of drawing every day for a minimum of 10 minutes. And if you do that consistently, that will improve your skills more than you could ever imagine. It's like you're thinking about the end game of like being great. And don't think that way. Think of enjoying the process of drawing. And then ultimately you will get really good. And I think, okay, so we're going to get the piece of paper and we're going to start drawing here. I think for everybody on the live stream, one of the most important things that I feel you could understand about getting better with drawing is that it's better to draw a little bit each day versus once a week or twice a week. I think drawing, hold on now, my brain, yeah, okay. I think just making sure this is level and plumb. I don't think I know from other things that I do in my life with practice of other hobbies. I'm a huge believer in not working one day a week to practice your hobby, but working a minimum of 5 days a week. I'm trying to be somewhat realistic here because some people just can't do a drawing or sketch or whatever, a warm up 7 days a week. And so I think that's also kind of being realistic. All right. So if you could just draw 10 minutes a day at minimum, that's like minimum, 5 days a week, you're touching your pencil 5 days a week. That is what is most important, and that will help you to improve over the long run. Over the long run, it's not short spurts of, oh, it's Sunday afternoon, I'm going to draw for 3 hours. And then you don't draw again until like 6 days later. That's not going to help you at all. All right, let me just get one more swig of coffee here because I didn't eat breakfast. And this is my bulletproof coffee with MCT oil, electrolytes, and yes, grass fed butter. So it's feeding my brain ketones. So 1 second here. Okay, now let's get started. Okay, so with this figure here, I'm just trying to make sure I'm starting. Wow, that's pretty high. Okay, I'm starting over here at the underarm. Now, if this is the underarm of our model's body, do I have enough room for the head? Yes. Okay, now where's the bottom of my piece of paper? Oof. Okay. I want to draw a little bit bigger than that. Do I really want to zoom out? I think I just, YouTube, I'm very sorry. I'm trying not to be slow deliberately. I'm just trying to plan this and then I'll zoom in and out accordingly. Okie dokie. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my line of action. So it starts at the underarm. Let's just go here. I'm getting that first angle, and I'm going all the way down to the model's foot. So from the underarm breast area, basically in through the breast. So I'm doing the front of the body to the privates near the pole, down the quad, all the way to the top of the foot. So why do we do this warm up when we get started? Why? What's the point? This is the same thing. So your warm up should look like your figure drawing, okay? Pen, tab, graphite, welcome. Okay, so now, all right, I noticed that perhaps this torso is a little bit more tilted. So I'm going to tilt it a little bit more. But I don't want to get stuck. You see, this is where you can ultimately get very stuck and try to be too perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my letter C technique. And that is the back of the rib cage for this particular model. All right. And this goes down to the small of the back. And that's kind of like where that rope is. I don't know if I'm going to draw the rope or not. It's kind of cool, but I don't know if I'm going to include it. And I get you. This is really small. So what I need to do now is I need to move my sheet of paper so I can zoom in for y'all on YouTube so you can actually see what I'm doing. So just time out. And this will give you a chance to kind of just catch up if you're a little lagging behind there. Okay. So now I'm pretty comfortable that I can zoom in ever so slightly. Okie dokie. So now I'll zoom in again. I promise. I know this is kind of small right now. So I'm going to just cling on to the hip/butt area and draw that in. So right about there. I can lower this. I think this needs to be more of a shallow angle. Okay, so stay loose with it. So now I'm just going to go over here to our model's pelvis, and then I'm going to go down the front. This is the pattern of human beings' legs, the pattern of the quad muscle. So that's going to bow out like that, okay? So we've got our hip, we've got our quad, and now our opposite letter C would be the back of our model's leg, the calf muscle. So with the calf muscle, glance up at the back of the butt. Where is that calf muscle? Is it to the right of the butt? Is it to the left? It's to the left of the model's butt. And then I'm going to angle in, aka bark plate. And then I'm leaning back, and my goodness gracious, this model is tall. So I'm just going to draw the top of the foot. So you see what we've done here. Like this is rhythm. So we're rhythm, 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 right, left. If you leave the live stream right now because I'm boring you to death, and or you can't see what I'm doing, let me get my value scale. If you just remember that, people, I'm telling you, that's going to help you. Okay, hold on a second. I have not organized my office since the beginning of the fall semester, and that started way back in September. And my goodness gracious, do I need to do that over the winter break, which is coming up on last day of the semester is the 17th. Okay, you don't really care about that. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. I know people like bigger. Oops. Okay, timeout. Oh, I'm trying to be like a cool YouTuber here. I'm trying my best. Okay. Now, let's keep going here. So if this is our model's butt, the back of their butt, where does the back start? Well, upper back into our model's neck. I don't want to go too long with that. Truffles is behind me sleeping. Absolutely. Our lemon orange slice is a great way to describe human form. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's to me, most, that rope is messing me up a little bit. Most of the human body is comprised of oval shapes, ovals. Absolutely. So I think now if this is the back of our model's butt, right up above that is the bottom of our model's breast, which I butchered with all that green pencil because now we've got our rib cage. Let me not be negative. Yeah, absolutely. Let me try to stay positive. This is the lat muscle. And so what I should do now is glance at this upper arm and just get, I don't know if I'm going to even draw that upper arm because I'd have to zoom out so much that the drawing on your monitor is going to get so small. So this is that scapula, neck, the other scapula. Okay. All right, time out. I got to sharpen this pencil. 1 second. One second. Yeah, so if you think about George Bridgman with the straight and curved, like the front of your, beautiful, happened again. The front of your leg is where the bulk of the muscle is on a normal human being. If you're a gym rat, yeah, your hamstrings are going to be huge. But normally, like with a Bridgman, do you see this model's back of their hamstrings, the back of the upper leg? It looks a little straighter. Do not draw a straight line, but it looks a little straighter. Now, okay, this is little something doesn't feel right here. I might let me not judge it until I put more in. So now let's get our model's hair. So I'm looking at our model's hair. So I think I'm going to close this off. Neck going up. How's this eraser? It's okay. It's not great. It marred the paper a little bit there. So you always test your eraser. So before you use it on the paper, these color erasers suck. Sometimes if the pencil's been in the store for years, and some art supply stores have had pencils in their store for years. Okay. So I'm trying to be gestural, but at the same time, I need to concentrate and look a little bit more. And so now I can do that shoulder, shoulder, scapula connector. So I'm going to connect the scapula with the neck and then our model's chin, and that would be the letter C for our model's face, which is kind of small in this photo, and that would be the model's hair. So if you look at our model's face, it's small. Now I don't want to make it too small either. So I not loving this, but I'm gonna keep going. All right. So that is our quick sketch. Quick sketch. Okay. So after you do this quick sketch, then what you could do, and what I recommend to my students. So let's say, I'm kind of going a little slow because I'm trying to get my proportions. If it was a gestural drawing, I would be definitely going like a little bit faster with all of this. So my next step is going to be to pick an area that looks easy for me to draw. Now, okay, gee whiz, I am so far away from this flippin' drawing. Okay, underarm, let's say, um, underarm and breast area shouldn't be pressing down this hard so soon. Breast area, rib cage, just looking at some measurements. Rib cage is kind of almost this part of the hip. And then this is the costal margin of the rib cage. This is our model's abs. And I'm going to kick the abs out because I don't think I'm going to include the rope. So the abs would come in front of our model's hip. Privates right over here. Yes, and I'm going to move the breast to the left a little bit. And I've got to erase some of that. Let me do that right now. That's very distracting for me. This should be extremely light. Okay. I effed up there, but it's all good. Yeah, let me resharpen this because I really. Well, there goes the eraser on the floor. Beautiful. Okay, so let's get this. This is our modeled lat muscle, latissimus dorsi, and then over here we have like a little rib. And I'm gonna zoom in soon. I'm just trying to work the whole drawing right now. So this is underarm area, and then I could draw our model's triceps, and then this would be our model's deltoid into the shoulder area, which would be the acromion of the scapula / clavicle area. And then this is our scapula and scapula. Okay, so now I'm going to come on down. This isn't bad. I don't, for lack of a better phrase, I don't hate it. Throw like a line that rolls in that would kind of show a rib. And then we have the small of the back. Maybe I will put the rope in later. I don't know. Haven't quite decided. So to the butt, I'm going to dance all the way down now. So yes, we do not want a straight line here. So our hamstring is going to be curved. Boy, my dog Truffles is snoring right through my skull. Oh my God, really loud. Truffs will make a cameo in a little bit. So I'm going to kick out the quad. Yep. And now once we get to our models, let me zoom in a touch. It's kind of far away. This is the hazards of drawing the whole body. Gordon Ramsay and Bob Ross. Boy, that's some combination right there. Yeah, that's pretty funny. So I'm doing that kneecap area and then our model. Now, is that too long, the kneecap area? And then I might go longer with this lower leg. So now we kick this out. You can do that with an angle, or you can just stick this is Achilles tendon area, soleus area, and then we go. Is that on camera? I'm just gonna no, I'm not gonna lift it up. I'm just gonna leave it as is right now. And then this is the heel and the side of our model's foot. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that because I don't want to zoom out more because it's just going to get too small for the video monitor and I'm going to lose everybody. I appreciate all 24 of you who are watching today. Thank you. Make sure to like the video. That would be really, really helpful for me. Okay, so now I might just do like a little bit of shape. It's kind of more shadow on the left side of our model. And so there's a little shadow right over here and then a little shadow over here. I don't want to get too caught up right now too much with the lower leg and shade and all of that, but I'm just going to kind of come into the tibia, fibula area of yes, and then that would be. I know this isn't on camera right now, but I don't want to zoom out more just so you can see the toes. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Well, I appreciate that pen, tablet, graphite, and it's usually my brain is like going a million miles a minute when I'm doing this. I'm pretty used to talking and teaching. I've been doing it for years, and even when I was a full-time freelance illustrator, I would paint all day, oil painting back in the day, and I would use my speakerphone in the 90s and early 2000s to have conversations with my friends while I was painting all day. And that was pre iPhone days. Okay, so let me resharpen the pencil. And let me get another little drink of coffee while it's somewhat hot. Hello, Artnon. Good day to you as well. And okay, so you must have caught me, Artnon, when I was struggling with something, so I didn't see your chat. Okay, so this is rolling into our model's trapezius right there, and it goes up severely. And this would be cervical vertebrae, and this would be our model's neck. We don't want to make this model's looks very strong, so I don't want to go too thin with the neck because that always looks weird. And so I'm just going to do mouth area, nose area is up. Now I don't want to, yeah, and eye socket and forehead. And then hair is a little flat on the top. And this is so far away from me. Okay, stop pitching, Matt. But with the live streams, I don't want to be like this drawing. Look, bald head. No, that wouldn't be good. So this is so far away. Like my arm is stretched upright right now. You can see because my sleeve is down, and it sucks. I'm drawing the head a little bit too big right there. I would love to get like a little bit closer to this drawing where you don't see my head. Okay, and then let's just do shape of hair. This is our model's ear, and then back of the skull. Okay, I don't hate it. Let's just use a little bit of shape here. And again, if you're a member of drawingtutorialsonline.com and you just joined me, the photo reference for today's live stream is on the website. So just log in and you can get the photo reference. Just go to the member blog where I post your member critiques, and you can see the YouTube live stream video with the photo reference that is not censored. Okay, so you can see the clear photo reference. I know the censoring of the photo kind of sucks for some people, but there's nothing I can do with YouTube here. All right, so there we go. That's kind of the pose. So maybe what we'll do is push the drawing a little bit. Just looking at our Mitsubishi High Uni 8B LED similar to Blackwing. I don't know. I've never used those LEDs, and I don't know. I mean, and I've only like there's so many black wings. I've only used one black wing, which is the 602 or the 607, which is an extremely soft graphite. So that I can't answer. Yeah, I know my limitations. Absolutely. Okay. So let's um let's just start all over again. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this shadow on our model's breast near the underarm, and you've got to curve that center of the breast right here. I'm curving that. I wish I would have drawn this a little bit cleaner, but c'est la vie. And so we've got this little area here, and then ribs. 1 second. Okie dokie. And let's go back to trying to draw the shape of our model's breast. We've got a little shadow there. And then back to, it's hard for me to see. I'm going to just maybe move my iPad a little closer. My reference is on the iPad. Oops. And of course, as I'm adjusting the iPad, I just accidentally shut it off. Okay. So now back to the rib cage, and then rib cage, and our abs are going to be a little bit in shadow down to the privates right over there. And this is our iliac crest, the front of our pelvis. And our pelvis would wrap around like that. I would not wrap all the way around. So now, right over here, I'm seeing the bottom of our rib, another rib, a little suggestion of a rib right over here. We've got, I'm going to come around with the lat muscle. And then this is just a soft little indication of the, I think it's called the spine of the scapula. I should know that. And our model's neck once again. Okay, so I'm cool with that right now. And so I kind of going to keep going. I still don't know if I want to draw the rope. I might include it. So on our model's hip, I'm just going to indicate a little bit over here. And now we're going to do a little bit with the leg. So hamstring, some curved lines right over here. Tensor fasciae latae is up here. This is ITB band. A little shadow shape, kneecap area. Don't go too crazy with that. Now I'm just going to do downward pencil strokes. Downward pencil strokes because I want to keep the flow of the model's body. Now, this is pushing against that pole, or we can call it a peg. So I want to kick that out. And I understand probably this isn't on video right here. And so I'm going to just do a little bit. And then this foot, I can feel this pencil is going to break. I don't know what the dealio is with these pencils. Oh, I see. Heel. Okay, good enough for now with that. Now, we don't need to copy the hair at all. We could make the hair kind of blow in the wind if we wanted to. You can be creative with it. I'm not being too creative with mine. Maybe I'll have a couple of strands of hair blowing. Um, Dan G. Game. So, all right, if you're a beginner, we're going to do a drawing after this one out of our imagination. So I'll walk you through it step by step. If you hang in there, maybe we're going to do that in like 15 minutes or so. And I'm going to do it right here, right next to this drawing. So, yeah, I'll walk you through it. If you're a beginner, it's just it's good just to watch and experiment a little bit and get out of your comfort zone. So look at our model's forehead, eyebrow. I'm just suggesting our model's eye socket area. I'm not going to go too crazy here. I don't want to demolish the drawing either because I might want to kind of draw this after. Well, not today because I have a Zoom class um, after this for members of my website, Drawing Tutorials Online. And it's our last Zoom class of the fall semester. I like to run the semesters on my website the same way the college semesters are. It keeps my life kind of simple, and it also gives me a break during the holidays to refresh and regroup and get re-inspired and do some planning. So yeah, that's the reason why I love semesters. We have this week is our last regular week at the School of Visual Arts, and then next week is a strange abbreviated week. Um, so I'm only teaching on Thursday. I'm sorry, Tuesday is Thursday and Wednesday is Friday because of Thanksgiving. So next week, our live stream will be held on Monday. Monday or Thursday, but I'm going to say Monday. Head feels very big to me. Absolutely. And yeah, where are we with the chat? One second. Let me finish the coffee here or come close to finishing the coffee. Um, so this right here is the front of your pelvis bone. Each side of your pelvis has an ilium, and this is called the iliac crest. It's the top of your pelvis. And this highlight on our model's hip is where your femur comes out of the ball socket. So, yeah, I don't want to get too much into the anatomy there, but this is the top. This is your front of the iliac crest. And then this is kind of very boxy on some people. And on thinner people, it's very boxy. This is where your belt would go. And privates below. Okay, now I'm going to simplify the quad. And then I'm going to do some form lines over here. And this is our line that separates the light from the shadow. And then once again, I'm going to come down and get this shadow, some form lines. Okay, where are we? Maybe I should draw the rope. I don't know. Oh, and then we've got this other foot. So I could try my very best to make this look a little bit more dimensional. And I'm going to glance at where I think that other leg is. So I'm doing that with more of a gestural line. Glancing at where this leg comes. So connector bottom of the rib cage to this lower leg ankle area. Into the toe. And then I've got the heel into the toes right there. Um, yeah. And if I wanted to, I can just do this lightly with some shape of value, kind of drawing through the pole. Sort of like that for now. I don't know if I'm going to keep that, but I just wanted to put it there. Okay. Uh, so let's see. How long have we been doing this? I would say that we've been drawing for about 35 minutes. And profiles are usually a little easier. And I'm going to do another drawing right here, out of my imagination momentarily. Like, let's do this for like maybe another 5 more minutes, I suppose, and then maybe I'll come back to it. That nose is much smaller. Just looking for my eraser. I shouldn't be too concerned with this, but I just want to erase that. I want to make this look smaller. And I thank you all for watching here today and drawing along with me. And I'm just drawing a little eye socket area. And the top of the head, I'm going to go across here. And then it's going to shoot down. Hair covering the ear. Don't be afraid to use a shape for the hair. And of course, I would love to be able to render this, but we're just kind of doing a sketch today of this model. Now, if I was going to draw the rope, it would be kind of fun, actually. So I'm going to make this a little thicker. Just want to make sure that doesn't look like a straight line, and I don't want to outline so hard everywhere. Just erasing out some of that tone over there. It's a little heavy. All right. So that is our sketch, and I could obviously I can kind of keep going with it and push it a little bit more. I don't know how much I want to push this today. Yeah, Truffs is a good companion, no doubt about it. Although she's a beast. She is a beast. Sometimes truffles can be extremely difficult, for sure. I want to go a little thicker with this leg. Resharpen the pencil. And a little thicker. Going to go a little lower with that. I'm kind of trying to adjust some things now. I just want to check something. One moment. I could raise this a touch. I want to get the foot in. Well, maybe not. I'm just resettling the paper. Let me zoom out a touch so I can get the whole thing in. Okay, there we go. Yes. Okay, let's come over here. This part of the ankle area really kicks out. We've got the foot into the big toe, and then the other toes are slightly lower. And then the foot angles out. Heel really angles out. And I'm outlining, which is something you want to avoid. I'm just going to be a little bit more silhouetted with this. I don't want straight lines on the leg, so we're going to curve everything. And gastrocnemius separates from the soleus, so we can just indicate that. Little sloppy there, and I'm going to just do the side plane value of our model's leg. Cool. And yeah, it's a little outlined. It's a little outlined. Outlining isn't the worst thing in the world, but what you've got to be aware of is that it will stiffen your drawing up immensely if you over outline everything. Okay. And let me practice what I preach and not outline that. And I'm just going to put like a little loose tone over here to indicate that leg without actually completing it. And last but not least, maybe we'll just push this a wee bit more over here. I'll grab truffles in a minute when I'm done with this drawing because I'm going to get up off of my chair just to stretch for a moment, and then we'll start the next drawing. I'll grab truffles in like a minute or two. Um, so yeah, our model's hair, and I'm going to just make this a little bit smaller. So again, famous last words. I don't hate this, but it just it needs adjustments. That's all. But it was a quick sketch, and it was fun. Okay. So again, everybody on YouTube, if you learn one thing from me here today on this live stream, is that doing this oval warm up, the opposite C's and the line of action, along with these shapes with value, is the best thing that you can do to warm up. Okay. Because look, why did I do this for my warm up? Because I'm doing some shading and I'm doing some shading. And what value is this? So I want to warm up with pressure on the pencil. Why am I doing the angles? Well, okay, well, I use some angles over here. I use some angles over here. I use some angles over here in these negative spaces, right? So doing the angles is very important. Why did I do this long S curve, letter C? Because that's how we started this drawing. We started it with a long S curve. Okay. And what else? Why am I doing these opposite letter C, opposite C? Because the face is the letter C, the upper back is the letter C, the lower abs is the letter C, the back of the butt is the letter C, opposite letter C, letter C. So I'm dancing down the pose. And then the ovals, every single thing on this model's body should be wrapping around an oval. Your breast is an oval. The ribs go around the oval of the rib cage. Your glutes are an oval. Your kneecap is an oval. Your calf muscle is an oval. Everything is an oval on the body. I know I'm being overly simplistic, but it is. Okay. So let me get up for a moment and let me go grab Truffs. And I'm going to get full of dog hair. I'm going to get full of dog hair. So, okay, time out. Time out. All right, let me switch cameras. Hey, Truffs. Oh, God, Jesus, don't help me. All right. Um, how you doing, Truffs? Let's let Truffs talk into the mic. Okay. Yeah, there's Truffles, and Truffles is like very lazy right now. Say hello, Truffs. Yeah, right. You want to say who's there? Where's the squirrel? Where's the squirrel? You see the squirrel? Okay. Yeah, you're ready to go. You're ready to go, Truffs. All right. Let me put Truffs back. All right, listen, people on YouTube, it's bathroom break time. I'm going to be right back in like 2 minutes and we will. Let me put the photo reference back up and we're going to. Oh, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Let's see here. 1 second. 1 second. All right. Cool. We're back. And what I would like to do is to do a drawing out of my imagination. It's not 100% out of my imagination, and but it's hey Bob, welcome. Hey Truffles, Platsky. Thank you, Batman. Yes, Truffs is necessary. Yes, absolutely. Yes, a graphite model pack. Okay, I got you, Bob. All right, we're gonna 1 second. So this next drawing that I'm going to do for everybody, I'm going to kind of walk you through it step by step, and yeah, for those of you who want more of a step by step process. So I'm going to sketch this right here next to the other pose, and hopefully this is going to be good enough on the screen. Maybe I'm going to move this over a touch to the left. Okay, timeout. Good. Okay. Now, what I did earlier today was from this model pack. I there were like 4 or 5 pictures that I really loved. So I wanted to draw another one, and I'm like, you know what? Let me stare at that photo and then try to remember what it actually looked like. I think I need to move me here. So there's more room for you to watch me draw. So I am drawing this not 100% out of my imagination. However, I am trying to draw this pose from my memory, which is different than 100% out of my imagination. And I think that's fun too. And it's super duper really good practice. Okay, so the first step that I'm going to do here is I'll try to draw this maybe the same size, is top of the torso peanut shape. So top of the torso. So I'm going to come on down with the torso into the bottom of the model's butt. Now, okay, you see what I just did there? Son of a gun, son of a gun. This is too tall. I for me to make this work on the entire sheet of paper, I should make it son of a gun. Okay, I'm going to have to make this smaller. So maybe this would be the bottom of our model's butt. Back, top. Okay, so pelvis. Okay, and now this would be our model's butt. Center of the glutes. So the first thing that I am doing here is if you're a beginner and you're watching me, the easiest way to start a figure drawing, in my opinion, is to focus on the core of the body. And the core of the body is the torso. So then what I would do is I would try to get the spine. So this would be the small of the back, the lumbar vertebrae. And then we've got the center of our butt. And then we've got this right over here. And so then from what I remember with the model pack, is the model was their arms were over there lifting up like this model's doing. They're reaching for the rope for balance. And I think that was their shoulder. And if you look at me as I'm drawing, I'm looking at the camera right now. I am not like my photo reference is there for what we just drew on my iPad, but I'm looking at my photo reference for what we drew here on the left. But right now I'm primarily looking down at the page, okay? I am not looking at my iPad. If I'm looking at my iPad, I'm looking at the pose that we just drew, okay? So perhaps this arm, well, this pencil's going to break. What is up with these pencils? They're so lame that they keep breaking. Okay, so I'm going to say, so, all right, that would be our step number one. Our step number one is to draw the rib cage area and go down to the bottom of our model's butt and the pelvis area. Okay. So next would be what we can do next would be the upper arm as a cylinder. I don't like drawing a simple cylinder. I'm struggling with that. And into the neck, this would be your 7 cervical vertebrae around the rib cage, the other shoulder. I'm going to say that's the back of our model's skull. Okay, and now what I can do is I can do a line of action down to that foot the same way we did the line of action here. So if I wanted to kind of do this the same way, it would be the line of action to the pivot of the pelvis, and then this leg was just kind of like dangling. And then I'm going to say, is this on camera? Perhaps that would be the bottom of the foot. And I don't remember this leg. Damn it. I don't remember how this leg was going, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. And that other foot would be dangling because this model was holding themselves up with the rope. Okay? Now, when you look at what I've just done here, it's way more gestural than what I did here. So there's a couple different things that you've got to take into consideration as an artist who likes to do figure drawing. When I draw out of my imagination / memory, I tend to draw much looser. And when I draw from the model in class, a live model for live drawing, I tend to draw looser like this. When I draw from a photo for a live stream where I'm doing a lot of talking, and I'm not concentrating as much because I'm talking and answering questions, I tend to do a little bit more outlining. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just you've got to understand that you might have a couple different styles when you're drawn in different ways. Hold on. I am so uncomfortable right now. All right, hold on. One of my goals. So years ago, I think this was like pre-COVID. I hired a posture coach because I was having problems. I have some herniated discs, and my posture was like, if you have bad posture, it's so bad. So I hired a posture coach, and they just look at your body, and yeah, it was pretty good. And they're like, get the first thing you need to do is get rid of your computer chair that rotates. Because if you have a chair that rotates, you're gonna rotate to the same side all the time, which is gonna promote your bad posture. So I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense to me. So I got rid of my computer chair, and I think my posture is much better now. So I want to do research to get a really good computer chair. Because this chair isn't cutting it anymore. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is breast and gosh darn it. Okay, rib cage, lat muscle. This is gonna come in a little bit. Iliac crest. There'd be like a little fold over here. Yeah, good photo reference. There's photo reference and there's photo reference. So there's a lot of members, past members, current members of my website, who upload their work to my critique gallery for a critique. And I've been critiquing people's artwork, I can't tell you how many years, I guess since 1997. And the biggest issue that I see with artists who are trying to get better at drawing is that they use the worst, I mean the worst photo reference that has absolutely no light and shadow. So you could supplement from life drawing with good photo reference, not crap photo reference that has no light and shade, and you're like, it's flat photography, front light photography, and that's no good. Like, that is going to hasten your improvement. Now, you could still draw from life and not be at school. You could draw a pet sleeping, you can draw a family member watching TV, you can draw a still life. Like, there are other things that you can draw from life that are not nudes. You could also like, if you have access to a museum, you could draw statues. You could buy a couple of figurines and draw a mini statue. There's so many things that you can do to draw from life. It's not even funny. So I'm gonna tilt this neck and change the head. And let me erase that. Where's my needed eraser? Okay. So, okay. I like this drawing already better than that one, and it's not even close to being finished. What other questions do you have, people? Any other questions? Just going to pour myself some water. So, this is just my philosophy. You don't need to um, pay attention to it, but I am such a big believer in that you should use the three disciplines. The three disciplines are you should find a way to draw from life. Whether that's looking out of your window and drawing a tree, or drawing a sleeping pet on the sofa. So you should be able to draw something from life. Okay. Um, you should also practice drawing out of your imagination, and you should draw from high quality photography. And that is a great way for you to improve, not just do one thing. Because there are people out there who can draw so good out of their imagination, but then you ask them to draw the model, and they cannot draw the model to save their life in terms of like proportions. Um, and like the feet will be ginormous, the head will be small, the body will be completely off. So yeah, I've learned from students over the years, and I've met so many different students, and um, it's just amazing how some people can be a little stubborn. I'm one of them. I'm one of them for sure. But I think you've got to like get out of your comfort zone, because some people will only draw out of their imagination. Some people will only draw from photos. Some people will only like to do short duration 5 minute life drawing poses, while other people will only like to do like a 10-hour from a photo. Like I think you're at a major disadvantage if you only stick to doing like one thing like that. Um, Omar Comics, welcome, happy birthday. So Sammy Hammy Saris, or Sammy Harris, thinking about getting into oil painting. Okay, so I did oil painting my entire adult life, and I painted um, paperback books back in the 90s and 2000s for publishing companies with oil paint. And what I could tell you is that you don't want to start with all of the colors. I would, my first and biggest tip for somebody starting with oil paints is to start with monochromatic um, paint. So meaning, just do like first start with like, people call it sepia tone, but I pick a brown, burnt umber, burnt sienna, raw umber, raw sienna. Pick a brown, and maybe you can also pick titanium white, and start with that and get a few monochromatic paintings under your belt, okay, before you start to use all of the colors at your disposal. Because once you start using all of the colors at your disposal, now you're going to start to get overwhelmed, and you have the more of the possibility of creating mud. Okay. A second tip for somebody just starting out oil painting would be to, um, oh boy, pre-mix your paint. Do not, do not mix your paint on your palette with your paint brush. What do I mean by that? Use a palette knife to mix paint. Okay, most people when they first start painting with oil paint is they'll squeeze out all of the colors onto their palette, and they start mixing the paint with their paintbrush. And when you do that, you are not mixing enough paint, hence mud. And mud is a big problem when you're oil painting, creating mud, okay? Meaning you're mixing your paint together and everything's getting gray, And then before you know it, your paintbrush has all different colors in it, and then you're mixing with your paintbrush, and it looks starting to make mud great. When you mix all the colors together, if you've ever done that when you were a little kid, you mix all of your colors together, well, it makes gray. And so that's what happens to people who um, mix paint on their palette with their paintbrush. They make a lot of muddy color. So those are my two biggest recommendations. It would be number one, to work monochromatically, and number two, to pre-mix your paint on the palette. And then another thing I'm going to share with you is you mix paint in accordance with these values. So I have old oil painting demonstrations on my website. So Loomis is extremely old. So is George Bridgman. And I still get value from looking at Loomis's artwork, Bridgman's artwork. I get a lot of value from looking at them. So I always say, oh, this tutorial is very old, and it is. But I've got some pretty good oil painting demos on my website for begin here step by step. The problem with them is it's not, current 16 by 9. I filmed them when the internet was 4 by 3 and before 16 by 9. So they're a little bit older. I do have some newer oil painting demos, and this spring semester, which is going to start in January on my website, the second week in January, we're going to do a 3 video process. We're going to do underdrawing, underpainting, and finished painting. So it's going to be a 3-hour piece of art on my Zoom classes. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that this spring semester. In colleges, aka the School of Visual Arts, the spring semester starts in January. So it's a little misleading. The way these colleges work is that it's fall semester, winter break, spring semester, summer break. So spring semester is really in whatchamacallit, the winter. Okay, what am I doing here? What else do I want to do to this? So you see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm just kind of mainly remembering the patterns of the human body. So that's the benefit of life drawing. Like you're remembering, like, oh, the hamstring's coming out. The hamstring is flexing because the lower leg is up. So there is going to be a bulge in the hamstring over here if that leg is being pulled up like a bicep curl, because your hamstring is the same as your bicep. John Doe, is your course library mainly for graphite? Do we need a good set of pencils to get the most? No, absolutely not. I could honestly say that 80% of the videos on my website have been filmed with one pencil. So, like, I'm a big believer in using one pencil for everything and not relying on 2H, HB, 6B, 9B. Like, I'm a big believer that um, don't rely on graphite. Rely on your touch. So what am I doing right now? I am drawing like a 2H pencil. What am I doing right now? I am drawing like an HB pencil. And now I'm drawing like a B pencil. 2B, 8B. So that's not the pencil hardness or graphite, whatever. It's your touch. So if you just have, and I've got graphite all over the place. So if I'm using my mechanical pencil right now, right? So this is probably HB. I don't know. Ooh, that's kind of a little harder than the Colorace. So we're going to call that like an HB, 2B, 4B, 8B. Can I do an H? Yes, that's an H. Um, as someone who just and then the other thing is I draw with digital all the time. So in the classroom, I'm using my iPad the most. Okay. Um, so it's all of these things that I'm teaching you, like they apply to all mediums. Absolutely, they do. What else do I want to do here? I appreciate that, Sammy. Hammy. Okay, 1 second. What else do I want to do? I don't know. So from a photo, from my imagination, it's kind of the same thing. I don't want to draw the arms because the arms are going to go too tall. So this is just basically a cylinder. Okay, that arm going up like that. Um, could I focus a little bit more on the feet with a big toe? Sure, I'm sure I could, but could I do more details? Yeah, I just don't know if I want to do that with this particular pose. But that was really fun to draw. I'm trying to think of another pose. Um, I'm trying to think of another pose. Let's do one right here. Let me do it. So I think there was another pose in that model pack that was really kind of foreshortened. And this is view of the chest, and our rib cage was really foreshortened. And then I think this was front of the pelvis, and let's see, side of the rib cage. Is that on the screen there? Yeah, side of the rib cage, side of the rib cage, and then hip, and then I think that was the rhythm. So it's hip, quad, calf muscle, gastrocnemius into the top of the foot. And then how was this other leg? And I don't remember their head. Damn it. Okay. But I'll just kind of do this one out of my imagination. Let me let me get another drink of water and look at this question. Oh, okay. All right, I gotta shake out my hand here for a moment. And somebody just called me. I want to look at my. Okay, sweet. Um, let me just take 10 minutes to flesh this pose out, and then we'll call this a live stream. Okay. Any other questions, people? Let's say I think I'm gonna go today to like 11:30 ish. Um, Okay, no pressure, John Doe, no pressure. And the beautiful thing about my website is that you could test it for a month. And my website, it it's a smaller website. Like it's I don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of members. Um, so you like everything is you have my email. You can contact me and be like, Matt, I liked your website. It's cool, but I'm not using it. So could you cancel my subscription? And I'm like, yeah, cool. Absolutely. I'll cancel it today. So the beautiful thing about my website is that it's just little old me, and it's not like a lot of red tape. It's if you join, you can join for a month. And within that month's time, you could get like a critique a week. So you can upload your artwork. And every Monday, I can film. I not that I can film. I do film a video critique, and I critique member artwork. So you could join for 1 month. It's $20 for a month, and you would have access to my full library, and you would have access to four uh, critiques a month every Monday, and you would have access to my Zoom class, my live Zoom class, and photo reference. I am going on a winter break with my website, but with that being said, you still have access to everything. Um, but during like Christmas and New Year's, I will be taking a break from the critiques just to like refresh. Because if you critique year round people's artwork, you can get fried really quickly. And so you've got to like take a break and refresh your brain, because critiquing all the time is exhausting. Like I critique my student art. I don't like the way this is coming out. I critique my students' artwork, and how do I want this leg? I don't know how I want that leg. You see, this is where I'm in between. Do I want that? Do I even have to draw this leg? I should. I'm going to have it coming down. Let's just have the feet together. And so, like, I critique my student artwork in Wednesday class. I critique it mainly on Thursday in my perspective and background design class. And then Thursday, it's all critique for the classes. It's a lot. So I like to use the holiday time around Christmas and New Year's to chill with the critiques a little bit. Um, so let me still flesh this out a little bit. Any other questions? Being on a cruise, man, am I jealous? Oh my God. I used to go on cruises more. We haven't gone in a while, so I'm very jealous. Enjoy every minute of it. The food, the relaxation, all that stuff. It's the best. Kneecap, gluteus medius, gluteus max, and this would be a little kind of semi foreshortened. Bottom of the rib cage. Connect the breast with a connector. Head, just being gestural. Arm. And I'm going to do one more little one right over here. Oh, God, what am I doing? So let's do shoulders. What am I doing? What am I doing? And bottom of the butt, leg. I'm just trying to remember some of the poses from that photo pack. I don't know. So I'm going to use this foot as the lat muscle. 7 cervical, spine. So, let me use this. The pelvis on this pose, can you see what I'm doing here? Yes. The pelvis on this pose is we start with the rib cage and we represent that pelvis. Is that on the screen? Yes. As a circle. Okay. And now we incorporate the 3 sections of your spine. So this is cervical, meaning near your neck. Then 7 cervical bump is a protruding vertebrae. And now we have thoracic vertebrae is near your rib cage. There's 12 thoracic vertebrae. And then we have lumbar vertebrae. There's 5 of them. So we have 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar. And then at the bottom of your spine is your triangular sacrum, which connects your pelvis iliums. So we've got an ilium, and we've got the iliac crest, and we have another ilium, and that goes to your sit bone. Okay, I don't like the way that I drew this. Ooh, it's kicking my butt. It's kicking my butt. How would that go? How would that go? Okay, I'm believing. Yes. The pelvis is a beast to draw out of your imagination, let alone draw um, from life. So this on this pose is how I would. This is your sit bones. That's where your belt would go. This is your sacrum and your coccyx, which is if you're a young kid and you fall down on your sit bone, you're hitting your coccyx and it hurts like a mother trucker. Okay, so your lumbar vertebrae are pretty thick, and then your thoracic, and that would be your head. So rib cage. Okay, so that's that pose for the most part. Um, yes. All right. John Doe. I especially enjoy how beautiful they are. I get a lot of life drawing done when drawing figures from imagination. How much anatomy knowledge is required? Um, bones. So what, John? What? This will get you a long way, John. So pretty much, is this on the screen? What I think is mandatory for me is the torso. So your torso, I just sketched it out for you. It's almost complete from the back. So you've got your oval for the rib cage, your S curve for the spine, understanding cervical, thoracic, and lumbar, and your pelvis, and then we could add the scapula. So your scapula is just a triangle, and your other scapula. So if you could understand, and your skull, if you could understand these, oh my God, like this is a great starting point for you. And then the rest is cake. It's cake. It's just, oh, okay, humerus, your upper arm bone, done. And your femur, your upper leg bone. It actually bows like your quads. My forearm's getting shaky because I'm not taking enough breaks here. And now you see what I just did there. That is way too big of a bone. That is like a massive bone right there. Holy shit! Let's make that a little smaller. Um, so, like I said, the whatchamacallit, the start with the rib cage, which is the hardest thing to draw because it's just complicated. You got to concentrate with all the ribs. The pelvis is a bitch too. I'm sorry to be cursing like this, but it really is. It like if you just turn the pelvis like an inch, it completely changes. Um, so like I teach anatomy in my classroom, and I do it like this, kind of out of my imagination, and I try to teach it in a simplistic sort of way. And then also from the front view, you would see clavicles, collarbones. Um, and I say to students all the time, start with the bones. Start with the bones. Now, but Matt, where are the bones on these two drawings that you just did? Well, that is the scapula. That is the top of the pelvis called the iliac crest. This is your kneecap. That is the bottom of your tibia. This is the two dimples right here on either side of your sacrum. This is your thoracic spine. That is your scapula. Okay. The rest is, so I'm not going crazy with anatomy, but I think you could draw the bones, and it's really good to do that. And that's how you ease your way into anatomy. Where are we? Yeah, so that's how we start. So let's say, for argument's sake, this is the torso peanut shape, right? And we've got the bottom of the butt, John. And so I'm going to curve around, and that would be that little fold of a lot of muscles right there. Oh, my dog is snoring so bad right now. Holy Moses. Um, so look, I've got a torso here. I get you. It's small. I need a drink of water. I'm talking way too much. And I said we were going to 11:30. Okay, couple more minutes here. Um, so if I squeeze some anatomy into this, okay, my God, my thumb, I got some tendonitis in my elbow. I'm not wearing my elbow brace. It's driving me a little cuckoo because I'm not breaking enough. Um, okay, so I'll close with this. So right over here is your seven cervical vertebrae right there. And then we have our thoracic vertebrae. And then we have our lumbar. And then you'll see a dimple and a dimple on some people who are somewhat thin. And that is either side of your iliac crest. And that's where your sacrum would go. And then you'd have a floating rib over here, floating rib. And then you would have the edge of the scapula, and the scapula kind of goes up like that. Edge of the scapula, it kind of tilts up. And I think that's like a must for you to understand that with the torso. So, yeah, there are tons of teachers online who teach the torso peanut shape. They all have their own name for it. Most teachers give things like their own names, and I understand that. It's like their own language, but we're all talking basically the same language because there's not 1,000 different ways to explain this stuff. There's dozens of ways to explain it. Now, listen, people, listen to me. There's 25 of you watching, and I only got 8 likes. That sucks. Come on. It's just one click of the thumb. Um, okay, so uh, Hammy Saris, this might be useful for viewers. It should take you to a 3D turntable rib cage. What do you mean by that? I don't understand. So, are you saying do a 3D turntable rib cage? All right. So, listen, everybody. It's 11:32. I'm gonna call this live stream done, and I really turntable. Yeah, I maybe that would be fun to do one day. A turntable demo. So, yes, I appreciate y'all watching me here and joining along with me and drawing with me. I would have really appreciate it if you're not subscribed to the channel. Let me get rid of all this right now and switch cameras. Where are we? Okay. So this is, yeah, you got it, Paul. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. And this is my little page here today. Um, First drawing's a little stiff for me. I like 3/4 views better than profiles. I just chose the profile today because it was YouTube with the nudity and all that. You just got to be very careful that you don't get flagged. Um, yeah, so yes, I hope you got something from today's live stream. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, drawingtutorialsonline.com, please subscribe to the channel. So, and then if you want to really go gangbusters on me here, click on the bell for notifications for when I go live. Next week, we're not going live on Tuesday. I will be in the city teaching. So we'll go live most likely on Monday next week, maybe Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided yet, but I'll let you know. John, thank you so much. Oh, it says 46 likes. All right, cool. On my computer, I see 8. So bad on me. Bad on me. Thank you, John. Can I do a video about drawing the pelvis in different angles? Yeah, I could do that. I think I would bore everybody to death if I did that, but I could maybe do that. Um, Cool. 3D movable rib cage. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So on YouTube, it has 8 likes. On my software that I'm streaming, I see the 49, John. Um, Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Appreciate you joining me. And for members of drawingtutorialsonline.com, I can't speak. The reference for this non filtered reference is on the website. So if you want to get the reference for this, you can get it there. And I will see you at 2 p.m. for our Zoom class. Thank you, Sammy Harris. Appreciate you watching. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'll see you next week. Be good, everybody. Be good.